Everybody, welcome to my reading book video. Last time we read something about scientists, and now in my other videos we are looking for Archimedes and the other scientists because they are famous and we are learning who they are. And I'm starting with Archimedes. Why is he considered one of the early true scientists? We'll see. Have you heard about one of the most important baths in history? According to a famous legend, it happened over 2000 years ago in the ancient Greek city of Cyprus. A famous Greek scientist named Archimedes stepped into a tube full of water at the public bathhouse. As he settled back and watched the water flow out over the sides of the tub, he was suddenly struck by a wonderful idea. He leaped out of the tub, wrapped a towel around himself, and went running toward home. And we need to see this paintings because you can see how Archimedes solved King Hero's problem and discovered what is called today the law of specific gravity, or the principle of the water screw invented by Archimedes is still used actually. And according to a legend, a clever construction of pulleys invented by Archimedes pulled Roman warships out of the water during the siege of Cyprus. And I'm continuing. He leaped out of the tub, wrapped by a towel around himself, and went running toward home. Eureka! Eureka! He cried. I have found it! I have found it! What Archimedes found when he stepped into the bathtub was the answer to a problem he had been working on for some time. The Greek king Hero had ordered his royal jeweler to make a new crown and had given him a certain amount of the gold to make it with. But the king suspected the jeweler of stealing part of the gold and replacing it with cheaper silver. Hero asked his court scientist Archimedes to find out the truth of the matter. Archimedes knew that metals have different weights. A cube of gold is heavier than a silver cube the same size. He could melt the crown and mold it into a cup, then compare its weight with the weight of a cube of gold the same size. But that will ruin the crown. There must be some other way to do it. He was considering this perplexing problem that day at the bathhouse. So the story goes, he noticed that the water level in the tub rose when he immersed his body, or the weight of his body displaced a certain amount of the water in the bathtub. He rushed home and began to experiment with weights and containers of water. He soon discovered that different materials do not replace the same amount of the water. Since gold is heavier than silver, a cube made of a pound of solid gold is smaller than a cube made of a pound of solid silver. Archimedes discovered that his gold cube displaces less water than the silver. Archimedes used this principle to find out if there was any silver in the crown. In one container of water, he put an amount of gold equaling the weight of the crown. In another container, he put an amount of silver equaling the weight of the crown. In a third one, he put the crown itself. He found that the crown displaced more water than the block of gold and less water than the block of silver. This told him that the crown was not solid silver or solid gold, but a mixture of both. The king's jeweler lost only his job, but his life after dishonesty was uncovered by Archimedes' experiment. He had solved the king's problem, but that wasn't all. He had discovered one of the most important secrets of nature. Solids can be measured by the amount of water they displace. This law is now called Archimedes' principle, or the law of specific gravity. Today, over 20 centuries later, scientists still depend on this law for many of their calculations. Our modern submarines are built and operated according to this principle. Archimedes was one of the few early scientists to conduct actual experiments to prove his theories. Many philosophers and mathematicians of those early days were content to think up theories without bothering to prove that they were correct. But Archimedes wanted evidence that his ideas were really workable. His experiments resulted in some remarkable inventions. One great invention, whose basic principle is still used today, was the Archimedean screw. This was a kind of giant corkscrew enclosed within a hollow cylinder. When the end of the cylinder was placed in water and the screw was turned, it scooped up the water and raised it to a higher level. Improved versions of this machine are used today to drain swamps, to convey grain into huge storage bins, and to lift coal into industrial furnaces. There are stories about some other machines Archimedes is supposed to have invented, although historians now doubt that they are true. They are still interesting to read. For instance, it is said that he built a machine that could move huge weights with very little effort. To demonstrate this machine, he attached one end of a chain to a ship loaded with cargo. He ran to the chain through the pulleys of the machine and handed the end of the chain to King Hero. The king tugged on the chain, and to his amazement, he was easily able to pull the ship out of the water. Another legend says that when the Romans were besieged the Greek city of Cyprus, the Greeks made good use of this machine designed by Archimedes. They lowered huge claws or hooks into the sea and picked up attacking Roman ships. Then they would lift them up and dangle them in the air, or let them drop and smash to pieces on the rocks below. Actually, Archimedes did his most. We need to see the paintings again. Actually, Archimedes did his most important work in the field of mathematics. In those days, no one had ever been able to measure the exact area of a circle. Archimedes found a surprisingly accurate way to do it. He also wrote brilliant books about figures that you will study when you take geometry in school: the cone, the spiral, the parabole, the plane, the sphere, and the cylinder. His book on measuring the area and the volume of spheres and cylinders was a masterpiece. Archimedes considered it his most important work. In fact, he was so proud of this accomplishment that he asked his friends to mark his tombstone with the figure of a sphere inside a cylinder. In 212 BC, the Romans finally succeeded in capturing the city of Cyprus, which Archimedes had so gallantly defended with his military machines. Marcellus, the victorious Roman general, gave orders that the great scientist should not be harmed. Archimedes was sitting in the marketplace or in his study working out a mathematical problem when a drunken Roman soldier killed him with his sword. So ended the long life of Archimedes, one of the world's greatest scientists. And we need to check, is it truth or the legend? The story is told that Archimedes was sitting in the marketplace or in a study in Cyprus, absorbed in the solution of a mathematical problem he had drawn and sad. He resented the interruption of a Roman soldier and said, "Don't disturb my circles." Archimedes was killed by the soldier, who was angered at the rebuke. And today we are over. But after 1 week, we will learn Nicholas Copernicus. So get ready and enjoy your day. Thank you.